I call to order the Board of Trustees special meeting for March 28th, 2023, and the time is now 6 o'clock. Trustee Johnson, would you like to give the invocation?
Bow your heads with me. Dear Lord, thank you for this day and thank you for giving us a great group here at the Township and citizens and our freedoms that we enjoy here. I pray that you be with those responders, first responders that protect us, be with the people that protect our overseas, that keep us safe here, and be with those down in Nashville as they are suffering. Amen.
Amen.
I'd like to.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Can we have a moment of silence for Roger Hayes?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we can do a moment of silence for Mr. Roger Hayes.
He was a valuable Etna resident and a member of our zoning commission. We lost him recently.
Thank you. Roll call, Ms. Brown, please.
Trustee Evans?
Yes, here.
Jeff Johnson?
Here.
Rosa McKee?
Here.
And Julie Varian is excused.
I move to adopt the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, please limit it to 3 minutes.
Actually, Robert's rule's 10 minutes. But yes, I have a question of why we're having special meetings and canceling regular meetings. Mr. Johnson couldn't be here. The meeting was canceled. Neither the fiscal officer or I were contacted about scheduling this special meeting. That's just not the proper way to do this. I also asked to be on this agenda and previously about the park issue with a pond that is having negative effects to a resident. And again, it is being ignored. We need to be addressing issues that are important to the township and are affecting our residents. Then also, I've been calling for a special meeting for a while without any response from the board president. I see in the newspaper where people want to work with each other and be transparent, but that's not the actions of this board. I don't understand it. We need to do the business of the township and stop ignoring all these matters. And I would ask that all meeting materials, these materials were just provided on this podium to me now for review. That's not how you administer a meeting or a township. These should be provided well before, as I did when I was president. So I hope this changes. And one other thing, why are public comments removed? Why does this board president want to silence the residents? She's basically telling you that she doesn't want to hear from you. That's improper.
Trustee Johnson?
None.
Yes, roll call.
Trustee Evans?
No.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes. I move to set the limit of not more than one speech of 3 minutes length and the same question on the same day for each trustee. Is there a second, Mr. Johnson?
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Johnson?
None.
Mr. Evans?
Again, we should not have a limit of one time for speech because this board doesn't even follow that when the other members are speaking. And if you're going to do this and try to silence people or limit discussion, just make it a permanent rule instead of having to deal with this every meeting. You can do that. You can save time. You can save the residents' time. I don't understand it. This isn't rocket science, as they say. So that's all I have to say.
Roll call, Mrs. Brown, please.
Trustee Evans?
No.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
Can we move over into new business, please? I move to authorize trustee Rosalind McKee, myself, to sign the initial application for the violation of land at the current agriculture use. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yes. We've been trying to, the fiscal officer and I, trying to get Ms. McKee to deal with this for quite some time. We missed the initial deadline of March 1st. We received a letter stating that if this is not done by this Friday, that we'll have to recoup the taxes. There's no reason for this. I've called for multiple times of meetings and even just information. We could have filed it if we would have known if the farm was being farmed. Ms. McKee refused to even give us that information on March 24th, March 20th, March 16th, March 14th, March 11th, February 28th, and more, without a single response of what's the current status of the land. And there was board discussion last February, March, that Ms. McKee was going to talk to farmers to farm. There was no board authorization to farm it. Where'd that money go? It was farmed. I see on the form that another farmer's gonna file it. There's been no board action. This can't be the sole role of one trustee here. They require board actions. And this is what we've been trying to get Ms. McKee to do. Even the prosecutor says it has to be board approved, and she was trying to just do it behind the scenes, force it on our fiscal officer. That's not proper. We got to follow proper policy and procedure. And again, to do this days before we could lose it and pay money, there's no reason for this.
Finished? Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure that the residents understand that this form is filled out, and it was filled out, and it will be submitted tomorrow. We have till the 31st of this month to get it over there, so there are no penalties at all. And just to let you know, the prosecutor just made it clear that it has to come to the board to have it signed off. So that's why we're here tonight as a special meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
The prior one wasn't done by
Okay,
board action.
so, okay, roll call.
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes,
Passed.
thank you. I move to approve up to $1,000 for Wrestler Media live streaming as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
I guess discussion is, okay, they get the equipment, who's operating it?
That would be our new administrator.
Okay.
How about that?
The administrator's getting one operator. All right. So we got the equipment, she'll take care of that?
Yes?
All right, that answers my question.
Okay. Roll call?
I don't get to discuss
Oh, go ahead,
this.
Mr. Evans, I'm sorry.
Okay. I was just wondering, why aren't we getting bids from multiple people on
Because
things?
it's under a certain amount, we don't have to.
Just because you don't have to,
Yes.
doesn't mean you shouldn't. And to ensure you have the proper system, and are these going to be streamed and archived?
Yes, sir, they will be.
Okay. Well, that's a good step, and I look forward to this because I've been doing this as a resident for about 3 years. And there's no reason why an entity should not be streaming and posting their meetings online.
Okay, thank you. Just to let everyone know here in the township that we will have an official Etna Township YouTube page. It's an official page, meaning that it won't be edited. It will be our official page. So I'm excited about that, so.
I understand when you tried to stop me from recording on my own.
Okay, roll call, Mrs. Brown, please.
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes. Great. I would like to move to approve the extra deputy agreement with the Licking County Sheriff's Office at a rate of $40 per hour with a minimum of 4 hours as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion, Mr. Johnson?
This contract is for just when we need extra duty, you can call them and they'll come out, they'll get somebody for 4 hours at a time?
Well,
As
what we,
needed, or is it a set?
it's set up for them to show up at every meeting that we have here at the township. As you guys know that, our deputies that we have on duty now, if there's a call, they have to leave. But in this case, they'll be here at all meetings. And so they will not leave to go to a call. So they will be stationed here at the township meetings. So I feel that this will be a good thing for the residents as well as the employee. We've had an incident, as you know, a while ago, and we want to make sure that everybody's safe and when you come to your meetings here. So that's what I want to make sure. Most importantly is making sure that everybody's safe.
It says there's a 2-day, it says here that give notice within 2 days we cancel this
Yes.
agreement. Okay. Making sure.
Right.
Yes.
And
For the minutes, is that every trustee meeting?
That's
I don't see a
every,
need for zoning commission.
no, that's only for every trustee meeting. Thanks for having me clarify that.
So
Yes,
we don't care about the zoning commission or BZA? Why wouldn't we provide it to the zoning commission BZA too? I mean, we're already spending, I think, over $500,000 on additional sheriff's deputies that really the county should be taking care of. But we're trying to serve our residents better, and we're spending even more on deputies. And you don't, this shouldn't be just about I want this. It should be what's best for the township
Well, you
and
can
all
vote.
committees. I'm speaking,
That's when you
please.
vote.
But to not include the zoning commission and BZA as if they're just second class, that's remarkable, is what I'll say.
You're part of the BZA board. Do you feel you need a deputy here?
I've been with the township for 19 years, and I don't see why we would need one of the zoning commission and the board of zoning appeals meetings. Now, if you want to make it as needed, if we're going to have a real big meeting or something that you feel the need, but the work session, sometimes we don't even have anybody in attendance, and you're going to pay a deputy for 4 hours, and you only have board members there.
Okay.
I mean, the last board of zoning appeals, we had one, it was the applicant, she was the only one here.
But I think,
I wouldn't want my tax dollars going to that.
I think what would,
I understand.
I'm talking, Mr. Evans, she asked me a question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
and I think, are
Continue,
you
Mrs.
finished?
No,
Brown, please.
I'm not gonna talk to Mr. Evans, so maybe you should let him do his 3 minutes and then I'll finish.
I think what would really help with the security is reinstalling the camera system here. We paid twice now for security cameras, and they're still not installed. They're still not here, which would help with false accusations and to actually document what happens in this township hall. They're still not active. Why? And now you want to get a deputy. Take care of the first things first. But again, to spend more money, and if they get called away, they get called away. I would assume special duty, if it's really urgent, aren't they called away too?
No, they're not, because they don't come with a cruiser. They come in their own vehicle, which saved us additional $15 per.
And I don't see.
So we don't include that.
It says we couldn't if we needed them, call them and have them come to one of those meetings. If we
Yeah,
actually had somebody
That's
to
what
call.
yeah, that's what
That's
Laura
what I
said.
was trying to explain.
Yeah, if that
You
ever-
set it up for an
Yeah,
as
as
needed, if you have a
needed.
big public hearing that you think you might need them at, but for their routine meetings, I can't
Right.
see having a deputy sit here when it's only the board of zoning
Right.
commission.
Understood.
I mean, Shelley Marie's been coming, but I don't think we're gonna need a deputy for her.
and Trustee Evans made a comment, there was no deputy at one of our last meetings, so I wanted to make sure that we clarify that by putting a deputy here
Thank you.
for protection.
Well, and I would ask to, I would amend this motion to add that if anybody is to be removed from the hall, that is a board vote, not just the whim of the president.
We're not going that far, Mr. Evans. That's not what we're discussing right now. We're discussing a deputy contract. Thank you. Mrs. Brown, would you do it?
If he was making a motion, you have to acknowledge that it dies due to lack of a
Okay.
second.
So we'll just say it died due to lack of second.
That was a motion, correct, Mr. Evans?
Yes, sir.
Is there a second? To amend, and it dies for
Die
lack of
for
a
lack-
second. Are you ready for a
Yeah,
roll call on
roll
this one?
call.
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes. Okay, we'll move over into old business. I would move to approve the agreement between Etna Township and Grow-Licking County for 2023 and authorize the $15,000 compensation as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And Rosalind, I think you have to sign that. You might want to add that in that motion. I think your contract needs signed.
I move to authorize Trustee Rosalind McKee, myself, to sign the initial application for the Grow-Licking County agreement.
You amended the motion.
I would amend the motion.
Do you accept this?
I accept.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Yes, I don't understand why we pulled out of the original agreement on, I think it was November 15th, and we've been out of this since February 15th, because when we did, the original thing was you didn't want it to be auto-renewed. It's still auto-renewed. They changed from 90 days notice to 30-day notice, but anybody that has a master calendar can just put it on, and that's not an issue. But when we canceled it, Grow-Licking County came back and said, we want other changes. So now if we cancel it, we don't get a refund, a partial refund, so we're worse off, and a few other items that it wasn't to the benefit of the township. Now, I still believe that we should move forward with this, but it was a mistake to even terminate it in the beginning, because again, we're worse off than we were before in this contract.
Did we gain any, do we have a seat at the table?
Well, that's a good question, and I'm glad you asked that, Trustee Johnson. That is not what they're, right now it's 15-member board. And right now, they don't have an opening unless somebody decides to step down. But I have spoken to the chair of the board as well as Alexis to let her know that we are interested in being on that board. And we should. We have a lot going on up here in Etna. And I made it clear I would like to see our administrator on that board. So hopefully things will change. So I'm optimistic that it will. So.
Well, and with us going into this, we have to take advantage of it, because I get emailed all the time, various businesses, developments that want to come in, and nothing's done with it. We've got a development team that hasn't been updated for about a year now. Just because we have a contract doesn't mean that we're going to get a benefit from it. We've got to start using it.
Discussion, let's see, roll call. Mrs. Brown, please.
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes,
Pass.
thank you. Move over into the fiscal officer report. I move Resolution 2303-2801 to approve the purchase order as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion, Mr. Evans?
Yeah, there's just three things here, but the neighborhood strategies for safe routes to schools, we weren't successful in that, correct?
That's correct.
All right, so I've got,
But there's some other things out there that Mr. Leonard feels that he could probably work with us, and he had the conversation with them for the future of the safe routes.
I think he's overburdened with stuff. I think we should look at other firms.
Roll call, Mrs. Brown.
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes,
Pass.
thank you. I move to ratify the payment of the bills as shown on the payment listing. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Johnson?
None.
Mr. Evans?
Yes, a couple things on the $25 payment. I just want to make you aware that it has to be in their hands by Friday. Can't be postmarked or anything, otherwise they're going to recoup those fees. And then on Mr. Copley's pay, I noticed in the status reports that he was doing occupancy permits. I don't know why he would be doing that if we have an assistant zoning inspector, but the road crew gets paid out of the road and bridge levy. So they can't do things that are for the zoning and then that time charged with that. So I made our fiscal officer aware of that. If in the future, Mr. Johnson, I mean, you're over the roads, you need to call out to the fiscal officer that this was done. Again, I don't know why he was doing occupancy permits. We're already at 60% of crew strength in the road department. They should be focused on the roads, but I think you've got to call it out and ensure that, because the past fiscal officer, he was improperly charging with the assistant zoning inspector into the road and bridge levy fund, which is, you can't do. So please make sure that is called out.
Just to be clear, the $25 that we're going to pay to the auditor's office, we have a check here in the folder that we signed off, and that will go down to the auditor's office tomorrow. That Ms. Varian sent an email just to let us know that the check is in there. So we're in safe hands. It will get to the auditor's office tomorrow along with the application. Roll call, Ms. Brown, please.
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
Passed.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on over to the announcements and comments for the trustees. Please limit it to 3 minutes. Mr. Johnson, would you comments, no comments?
Point of order, I thought for special meetings, you can't have comments unless there's comments on the specific topics.
It will be on that specific topic. We know that. Do you?
Okay.
Yeah, we know that, Mr. Evans. So if you want to move, you want to have a discussion?
I think I said it in the agenda items. We should move towards proper administration and doing what we need to do. And announcing when there's going to be special meetings. Again, our fiscal officer didn't even know about it until our assistant zoning inspector told her. I'm sure it was planned well in advance. And I would say the public comments should be permanently fixed on every agenda item. Everyone. Pre-print it. Get a stamp.
Sometimes you have to remind people.
We're here for the residents. We're not here for ourselves.
Great. Roll call, please. Mrs.
Yeah,
Blair.
made a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I think Jeff just did it.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, Mrs. Brown?
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
Passed.
Thank you very much.
6:23.
Okay, 6:23. Okay, so we got